Last we spoke, we're talking about exercise and the nature of stress, the nature of leveraging stress, taking advantage of the stress response. As most people recognize, stress can potentially be a big problem, but at the same time, small amounts of stress are absolutely critical for growth, all growth. It's part of a tried or true aspect of physics that we talked about yesterday called complexity theory that mathematically, scientifically demonstrates that living systems evolve into more functionality. They basically become bigger and stronger and better when they're under stress. Small amounts of stress followed by long, luscious rest. And what is stress? But destabilization. In fact, the word exercise actually means to destabilize, and exercise is what most of us think about when we think about stressing the body. Exercise is a type of stress in the body. Exercise is thus by nature destabilizing. It's why we hate it. And it's also why we love it. The body is designed to run best with a little bit of stress, a little bit of exercise, and the body will secrete and the brain will secrete happy hormones, pleasure hormones, opiates, endorphins, dopamine, all the good stuff, the stuff that makes us feel really good when we exercise. That way we're encouraged. The body encourages us to work out a little bit. And I said a little bit, and that's the key, a little bit. And all bodies benefit this way. Sick bodies, old bodies, young bodies, everybody's bodies benefit from a little bit of stress because all our bodies are really the same. And this idea that all our bodies are really the same is one of the most important and one of the most inspiring ideas in all of health. All bodies are the same. That means all bodies break down the same. That means all bodies heal the same way. If you've ever seen the Bodies exhibit, it goes around, I think it's still going around the country. It was going around the country in different museums. They show you how bodies look like under the skin. Under our skin, our bodies all look the same. You can't tell if somebody was a man or a woman or a boy or a girl or young or old or black or white or whatever just by looking at the tissue underneath the skin. Underneath the skin, we're all the same. The body breaks down the same. The body's structured the same. All the parts are plugged in the same way. And all this means that healing is really generic. Breakdown is generic, and healing is also generic. One of the universal results of exercise is that we feel better when we do it. But another one of the universal aspects of exercise is that we all hate it. We hate it because exercise by definition involves discomfort, and we hate to be uncomfortable. Do you ever wonder why we avoid discomfort so much? What is it about discomfort that is something that we got to stay away from? The need for comfort is not necessarily in our interest. The need for comfort keeps us from growing. The need for comfort keeps us from accessing the stress, the stress element that's associated with growing and getting bigger and getting better. There's a really cool book called The Power of Negative Emotion by Todd Kashdan and Robert Biswas-Diener. That's a kind of a weird name here. Biswas-Diener, Biswas-Diener. And Todd Kashdan, Kashdan, The Power of Negative Emotions. Really cool book. And it talks about how our negative emotions aren't necessarily a bad thing. And there's a chapter in the book called The Rise of the Comfortable Class, which talks about our addiction to being comfortable, the origins of comfort addiction, and how this drive to be comfortable at all times doesn't necessarily serve us, especially when it comes to exercise. Because exercise is about discomfort. Exercise is about stress. Exercise is about destabilization. And the body's response to having its stability thrown off is to become better. It's to become more complex, to develop more fibers and mechanical structures, as well as the chemical components that keep us healthy and keep us strong, all in an effort to restabilize the system. So the body gets destabilized via exercise, and then it goes back into restabilizing via getting bigger and stronger and better. And it's this back and forth nature between stability and instability that keeps us growing, keeps us young, keeps us healthy. The body is always in this dynamic state of going back and forth. And in terms of our health, this back and forth can be thought of a cycling from breakdown to build up, to breakdown to build up, to breakdown to build up. The fancy way of saying build up in Latin is anabolism. The fancy way of saying breakdown in Latin is catabolism. And anabolism plus catabolism make up metabolism. Anabolism plus catabolism make up metabolism. Breakdown plus buildup lead to the sum total of breakdown or buildup, which is called metabolism. That's what our metabolism is. It's the sum total of chemistry in the body. And the most important thing to understand about this sum total of chemistry in the body is that the body is always in breakdown mode and it's always in build-up mode. It's always doing both, and it's the bottom line that counts. When we're young and when we're healthy and we're vital and we're strong, a little kid is in prime building mode, net building mode, net in the black, as I like to say. As we get older, not so much. We're net in the red. We break down, we're net in the red. If we're older, in a nursing home, convalescing, we're frail, we're net in the red. We're net breakdown. To exercise is to turn that equation around from net breakdown to net build up. Exercise shakes things up, and then the body is forced to stabilize itself. As far as the skin goes, which is what we've been talking about here, this breakdown and build-up process can be exploited just as well as it can be inside the body. We can use this breakdown and build-up phenomena, how breakdown leads to build-up, catabolism leads to anabolism, to improve the health and the look of the skin. This is what is meant by exercising the skin. I'm not talking now about exercising the skin muscle. I'm talking about exercising the skin itself, improving the extrusions of fibers, the extrusions of moisture factors, and actually improving the growth and the development of new skin cells. Skin exercise is the prime way to keep your skin looking healthy and young, and there are lots of ways to do it. We'll talk about some of these strategies, and we'll talk about some of the things that happen when you skin exercise when we come back from our break, and we'll take your phone calls as well. 844-236-6010 is our number. You are listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back right after this.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from Reputation.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771.
Hi, this is Walt Augustinowicz. I'm the founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. By now you've heard our commercials about wallets that protect you from electronic pickpocketing. 10 years ago, I created a way to protect my own cards from prying eyes after government officials started talking about issuing a national ID card with a built-in radio chip called RFID. I felt having to broadcast my personal information was an invasion of privacy. Soon after, it was also announced that credit cards, debit cards, U.S. passports, hotel room keys, and even transit passes would all soon incorporate RFID. It was then I formed ID Stronghold to share my inventions in blocking RFID signals with the world. There are a lot of misconceptions out there today about RFID. I encourage everyone to get informed and get protected. Please go to idstronghold.com and get the facts and the wallet, sleeves, or badge holders you need to protect your personal financial data. You'll be pleasantly surprised that through our direct sales model, you won't pay more than other comparable unprotected wallets. It is as though the protection is free. Visit idstronghold.com today.
It's very easy to be a criminal. All you need to burglarize a home is one simple household tool, a pair of scissors. If your home security system can be compromised by a criminal using scissors, then you're making it easy for them. Almost every home security system, even those sold by big-name companies, has a weakness: the phone line. You shell out $1,500, get locked into a long-term contract, and think you're safe. But a burglar can destroy your alarm in seconds with one snip. And when a burglar cuts your phone line, you're defenseless. Simply Safe Home Security is the smarter choice. Built by Harvard engineers, Simply Safe uses a wireless connection to call the cops. Scissors can't cut it, and that means your home stays safe. 24/7 professional monitoring is under $15 a month with no contract. Simply Safe Home Security keeps you safer than the other guys for half the cost. Protect your home with the alarm you can trust. Simply Safe. Go to simplysafedefense.com now for an exclusive 10% offer. That's simplysafedefense.com.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Hi, this is Walt Augustinowitz. I'm the founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. By now you've heard our commercials about wallets that protect you from electronic pickpocketing. 10 years ago, I created a way to protect my own cards from prying eyes after government officials started talking about issuing a national ID card with a built-in radio chip called RFID. I felt having to broadcast my personal information was an invasion of privacy. Soon after, it was also announced that credit cards, debit cards, U.S. passports, hotel room keys, and even transit passes would all soon incorporate RFID. It was then I formed ID Stronghold to share my inventions in blocking RFID signals with the world. There are a lot of misconceptions out there today about RFID. I encourage everyone to get informed and get protected. Please go to idstronghold.com and get the facts and the wallet, sleeves, or badge holders you need to protect your personal financial data. You'll be pleasantly surprised that through our direct sales model, you won't pay more than other comparable unprotected wallets. It is as though the protection is free. Visit idstronghold.com today.
Your personal rights and freedoms are under fire. Rising prices, drought conditions, domestic threats, and excessive government regulations only increase the threat. Having a supply of food is the difference between freedom and captivity. Depression-time breadlines extended for blocks, and those at the end of the line not only experienced fear and humiliation, but often did not receive any food. Having a supply of Go Foods will keep you out of the breadlines and allow you freedom from government dependency for one of your greatest needs. Whether today or in 25 years, Go Foods will be there for you when you need it most. Buy it today, save it for later, feed your freedom. Special values now available. Call us at 800-648-9753 or on the web at www.storefoodnow.com. That's 800-648-9753 or www.storefoodnow.com.
Hi, John Hubner from Midas Resources. Are you tired of watching your hard-earned assets dwindle away? As government spending is out of hand and the Federal Reserve is creating in excess of $20 billion a week, are you tired of stockbrokers gambling away your hard-earned money? Is this market a setup for a crash greater than 1987? Too many of today's policies resemble those that led to the collapse of 1929. This is John Hubner, and that was me in 2007. And we all know what happened when the subprime credit bubble burst. By March 2009, the dollar lost 50% of its value. The entire U.S. banking system was on the verge of collapsing. Like all financial problems of the past, is history about to repeat itself? Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129, before it's too late to protect yourself. Will the oncoming catastrophe take all private IRAs, 401ks with it? There is a way to protect your hard-earned assets. Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129.
The nation's largest independently owned and operated talk radio network, the Genesis Communications Network, GCN.
Okay, we're talking skin health. And one of the things that happens when you use skin exercise strategies, especially alpha hydroxy acids, which I love, glycolic acid and lactic acid. There's other ways you can stimulate the skin or turn the skin on. You can use enzymes to do it. Papaya enzyme will do it. Meat tenderizer, which is made with a papaya enzyme, can do it. You can make your own meat tenderizer, papaya enzyme toner or mask by mixing in a little meat tenderizer with some avocado, perhaps, or maybe in some gelatin gel. You can make your own little gel mask with some gelatin and some papaya enzyme. You have to do it pretty quickly because the papaya enzyme will break down the gel. And the gel might not even gel that well in the presence of papaya enzyme, but you can spread it on your skin. And you can get a nice stimulating effect. Anything you do to stimulate the skin, to turn on the chemistry of the skin, is going to, in effect, exercise the skin. And it's going to upregulate or increase the production of all the good stuff. Collagen and fibers and moisture factors and hyaluronic acid. Love, love, love hyaluronic acid. Talk about that here in a second. Most folks have heard of exfoliation. Certainly most women have heard of exfoliation. It basically means to remove skin cells. Ex meaning to remove, to get rid of. Exfoliate means to get rid of leaves. Folia means leaves, or foliage means leaves. Back in the days when they were developing words, or they inventing words, and the days of ancient Rome, perhaps, I guess that's when they were doing coming up with all these words. They looked at the skin cells, the stuff that was flaking off in response to exfoliation, as leaves, hence the term exfoliation, to remove leaves. And it's a reminder that the process of removing skin cells is a lot like pruning your leaves back on a tree or on a bush. We all know that when you prune the leaves back on a plant, the leaves grow back bushier, thicker, fuller. That alone is a miracle. You think about it. We get rid of leaves, and the leaves grow back bushier. Well, the same thing happens in the skin. You get rid of cells, and the skin grows back bushier. And what I mean by bushier is thicker and stronger and better. This is what exercise is all about. It's an important idea when it comes to skin health, or for that matter, when it comes to the health of the body or any other living system, even though it is somewhat counterintuitive. In the same way that removing or cutting the foliage off a plant, the leaves off of a plant, doesn't make the plant less healthy, but rather increases the growth of the leaves and is actually beneficial. The same thing happens to the skin. I have friends who are physicians and dermatologists and skincare professionals, and they don't recommend stimulating the skin or exfoliating the skin. They think it's harsh on the skin. Well, if you know anybody who doesn't recommend or doesn't suggest or doesn't think it's a good idea to exfoliate, they're basically telling you they don't think it's a good idea to exercise. And we all know that nobody would ever say that. Exfoliation is exercise in the sense that it stimulates the growth of things, and it is a key thing to do. It's very, very important if you want to have healthy, beautiful skin. And who doesn't? One of the most important components of the skin that gets upregulated or stimulated when we exercise the skin with alpha hydroxy acids, glycolic acid, lactic acid, acetic acid, apple cider vinegar, lemon juice. There's so many different ways you can do this. One of the most important components that gets upregulated is a slimy, gooey, water-trapping, electrically active substance called hyaluronic acid, HA. And we're going to spend a day or two talking about this. Super important substance. When it comes to hyaluronic acid, technically hyaluronic acid is a sugar. It's a polysaccharide. It's made up of two really neat little sugars. The long chain, poly means long or many. Polysaccharide is a long or many sugared structure. It's got lots of little sugar pieces strung together. And actually it's got repeating units. It's only really two sugar units, and each of these two sugar units, these two sugar unit blocks, repeats itself. And these two sugars are really, really fascinating. We'll talk about those tomorrow. Right now, I want to just tell you that hyaluronic acid is a long chain of sugars. It's made up of repeating pairs of sugar, two very important sugars. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And hyaluronic acid is what gives the skin its springy nature. Because of its water-trapping property, it allows the skin to have a sort of puffy nature. When we're younger, we got more hyaluronic acid, and we've got thicker, beefier skin. As we get older, our hyaluronic acid levels decrease in the skin, and our skin thins. That's why upregulating, increasing hyaluronic acid is maybe the key strategy when it comes to fighting wrinkles and keeping the skin looking young and healthy. But it's much more. Hyaluronic acid is much more than something, just an ingredient for the cosmetic that improves the cosmetic appearance of the skin. Hyaluronic acid stimulates growth. The more HA you have, the better your cells are going to grow. Hyaluronic acid helps cells get nourished. Hyaluronic acid helps detoxify cells. And hyaluronic acid activates the electrical nature of cells as well. Hyaluronic acid, as I said before, is one of, if not the most important of the non-fatty or water-soluble components of the skin, and it is stupendously multifunctional, not just for the skin, but for the bones and for the connective tissue in the body in general. We'll talk about all of that tomorrow as we continue talking skin health, hyaluronic acid, and upregulating all the components of the skin to keep it healthy and young and beautiful for all the days of our lives. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. Got some lines open for you. Time to hit our phones. If you're on hold, hang tight. We'll get to our calls here right now, and then continuing through the next half hour. On the bright side, let's go to New Hampshire and welcome Brian to the bright side. Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Ben. I love your monologue as always. It's always incredibly informative. Hyaluronic acid is something I didn't know about. But I called today in regards to my friend who's 25 years old and has been having such bad acid reflux to the point where he can't even hold down meals.
That's terrible.
He went to the doctor, and then they said, well, you're going to have to go see a specialist.
Did they tell him he had a hernia by any chance?
See, that's what I thought at first, but it's not. They're not sure what the problem is. But I told him, well, I wanted to go into apple cider vinegar and baking soda and try to give him a nutritional strategy.
All right, hang tight. We got to take a break, Brian. We'll address acid reflux when we come back, okay? And if you're on hold, hang on. We'll get to you when we come back from our break, and we do have lines open for you, 844-236-6010. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back after this. TruthTreatments.com. Okay, we're talking to Brian in New Hampshire. Brian, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's talk a little bit of heartburn and acid reflux. Most important thing to recognize, Brian, and for everybody listening who's got acid reflux issues, that's when acid splashes back up through the stomach, up the esophagus, tastes lousy, feels awful. First thing to recognize is it's not an acid problem. It is a sphincter problem. A sphincter is a little round circular muscle that opens and closes. You got them throughout the body, and there's a sphincter that connects the esophagus to the stomach. So if food goes down the esophagus, there's this little kind of circular muscle that opens and closes. It opens when you eat, and the food drops down in the stomach, and then it closes when there's when there's food in the stomach and you're not eating. And the idea is that it closes so that as the stomach is juggling around and moving around and crushing up the food and the acid is being secreted, nothing splashes back up. However, occasionally, as many folks know, that sphincter loosens up and stuff splashes back up. So does that make sense so far, Brian?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's not an acid problem, it's a sphincter problem. Now, of course, the medical model, in its infinite non-wisdom, will use drugs to suppress the acid. This is not smart. Why? Because acid's important. Yes, it's uncomfortable when acid splashes back up, but that's not a reason to shut down its production. This is just a classic example of what's wrong with the medical model. In an effort to suppress symptomology, it shuts things down. And that means poison. I use the term poison all the time. That's what I'm referring to. It shuts things down. Now, if you have heartburn or acid reflux, it feels awful. It tastes awful. It's a miserable experience, and I've had it occasionally. I know it's awful. So if you have it chronically, and I can only imagine how that must feel, you're going to want a symptomatic treatment. So symptomatic treatments, prescription drugs, have their place for symptomatic relief. But in the long term, if you're using these things long run, you're going to run into big problems. Specifically in the case of Prilosec and Nexium, you're not going to be able to absorb nutrients. Acid is important for absorbing nutrients, and you're not going to be able to digest your food. Acid is important for digesting food. The combination of lack of nutrition, of not being able to absorb your B complex and your minerals, is going to be a breakdown in the body. It's going to be an inability of the body to get energized. It's going to be an inability of the brain to stay healthy, and the heart to stay healthy, and the blood sugar system to process correctly. Not having enough stomach acid, by suppressing it, either if you're suppressing it pharmacologically or if you're just not making enough stomach acid, is a big, big problem. And to artificially induce it with drugs is just crazy. Now, if you have a symptomatic problem, if you have a problem and you want symptomatic relief, I can relate, I can understand. But in the long run, you want to figure out, why is that sphincter flabby and loose and not being closed correctly? And you'll always find that it has to do with the wrong kinds of foods and digestive health problems, especially around probiotics. When you have the wrong kind of bacteria in the gut, gases are emitted. That causes the sphincter to loosen up. The gases that are emitted causes a loose sphincter, and that also causes pressure upwards on acid. That can be a problem. Eating the wrong kinds of foods can be a problem. Eating when you're under stress or general stress can do it. So all of these strategies, all of these mechanisms for acid reflux need to be addressed, and can be addressed without doctors, without drugs. For first things first, you want to get yourself on the Brian, for your friend, have your friend on the Biolumin Nightly Essence. Good bacteria in the gut are always where you start. And then secondly, you want to start to associate the splashback or the reflux symptoms with specific foods, and you will find that there are foods that your friend is having a problem with that are almost always associated with that splashback. He probably has other symptoms as well, other digestive symptoms as well. So keep a food diary. Notice when he has the acid, and then write down what he ate, or just keep track of everything he's eating, and then link those to his acid symptoms, and then practice dietary or food elimination. For the most part, he's not going to have splashback or heartburn symptoms if he doesn't eat, so fasting is a great strategy. Although when acid reflux becomes significant, and it can become significant over the course of time, even water can do it. So you don't want to get to that point. Before you get to that point, he wants to isolate specific foods and see what foods are causing or are related to the splashback symptoms, and then use probiotics or good probiotic supplement, and fermented foods as well. Now, you mentioned apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is an interesting strategy because, as it turns out, a lack of stomach acid can actually loosen that sphincter. So a lack of stomach acid or deficiencies in stomach acid can actually cause splashback or cause reflux. So using apple cider vinegar, Brian, good idea. It may help them. A lot of folks get benefits by using apple cider vinegar, and digestive enzymes for that matter, after meals. So using apple cider vinegar can help. If you're going to go the bicarb route, Brian, don't do it with meals, or don't have your friend do it with meals, because bicarbonate will neutralize the acid, and he's going to have a problem absorbing his nutrients. And also, by the way, acid in the digestive tract is a protective mechanism for killing bacteria. So you run higher risks of food poisoning, etc., by suppressing acid, whether you're doing it with bicarb or whether you're doing it with a drug. So if he's going to use bicarb, have him use it a little. I don't even recommend that he uses sodium bicarbonate unless he's absolutely miserable, in which case have him wait a little bit after he eats his meal before he does his sodium bicarbonate. And I don't even recommend that unless he's absolutely miserable, in which case it can be helpful. There's also something called mastic gum, M-A-S-T-I-C, that some people use. Mastic gum can be helpful. There's also something called DGL, which is an extract of the herb licorice that some people find benefit from when it comes to heartburn. So DGL or mastic gum, those are more symptomatic strategies if he doesn't want to go the Prilosec or Nexium route. Does that help, Brian?
It does. Quick follow-up.
Yeah?
Would you say then that GERD, G-E-R-D, when proposed to me, I suspected that it was a fictitious kind of diagnosis. And
what was? I didn't hear what you said. What was a fictitious diagnosis?
GERD.
Oh, GERD. Yes, gastroesophageal reflux disease. That's the fancy way of talking about that splashback. They call it reflux. Go ahead.
And I was just curious, when would sodium bicarbonate or baking soda be a useful nutritional supplement?
But sodium bicarbonate is secreted by the pancreas to help neutralize stomach acid. When you eat food this is what's supposed to happen when you eat a piece of food. It goes into the stomach and it gets an acid bath, and then the stomach grinds it up through mechanical processes. There's a lot of musculature in the stomach, and between the muscles of the stomach grinding the food up and the acid and the enzymes which activate, or the acid which activates the enzymes, between those three factors, acid, enzymes, and muscular contractions, the food gets crushed up, and then once it's crushed up and it forms a liquid. If you have enough liquid in the food, or you're drinking water with your food, you get this soupy acidic mass that drops from the intestine to the stomach. At that point, what's supposed to happen is the pancreas is supposed to secrete sodium bicarbonate into the intestine to neutralize the acid. However, if you don't, and that alkaline bath initiates more digestive juices, specifically bile. But if you don't have a fully functioning pancreas, or you're not making enough sodium bicarbonate, that's not going to occur, and you're not going to get the secretion of bile in response, and you're going to have impairment of the entire digestive process downstream. So using sodium bicarbonate a couple of hours after you're eating can support the pancreatic activity and support bile secretion later on or further on downstream. So a couple hours after you eat, that's the best time to do bicarbonate if you're going to do sodium bicarb. Thanks for your call, Brian. I hope we answered your question, buddy. Got to take a break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. Hang tight. If you're on the line, our number is 844-2. We're talking skin health and the health of the body. We're taking all your questions, whatever you have, or success stories, if not questions, or if you just want to contribute to the conversation. 844-236-6010 is our number. Tomorrow we'll continue talking skin health, and if you're interested in purchasing any of my Truth Treatment products, including the retinol balm, which is one of the best ways to upregulate hyaluronic acid, is using retinol. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. Head over to truthtreatments.com. Take a look at our retinol gel, or our truth balm, or truth serum, or our omega-6 healing cream at truthtreatments.com. RC in California, what's up, my friend? Long time no see. What's going on? RC, that would be Ben. Me. Hello, RC. Hey. Greetings.
Hi. I went out and bought some pH strips. Do my own testing, I guess, and
okay.
For see whether my alkaline or acidic.
What did you test? Did you test your saliva or your urine?
I did both, and the saliva came back really like 7.5, and the urine came back like 6. I mean, different colors.
That's not bad. That's not bad. You want your saliva to be right around 7-ish, and urine 5-ish, 6-ish is good. You don't want it to go down too low, though. Even up to 7, somewhere 6, 7 kind of thing. If your urine is, the problem is when your urine is acidic, or your saliva for that matter, is acidic. That's when you're really running into problems. Some people get their urine down to 4 or even lower, I've seen. And that's really where you're running into a problem, where your body's trying to dump out acid. But you're doing good. Is that what you're asking? Is that what?
And then what type of, foods or supplements can you take to lower your, make it...
You don't want it low, you want it high. Well, you want it in the middle, pretty much, as a general rule. Right around 7. The pH scale goes from 0 to 14. Most people know this. I'll just to reiterate, the pH scale goes from 0 at the most acidic to 14 at the least acidic, or the most alkaline, if you will. And 7 is neutral. Your blood needs to be right around 7.4-ish, a little bit less. I think it's 7.38, something along those lines. Just around 7.4 or so. And then you want your saliva to be right around 7-ish, and your urine maybe a little bit lower. The big problem comes from running acidic. Acid is a measurement of toxicity. Well, as the metabolic processes of the cells proceed, they release acid. Acid is a byproduct of metabolism, and under healthy conditions, that acid will be eliminated. Acid represents speed and activity and dynamism. That, by the way, is why you want your skin to be acidic. The inside of your body, you want to be relaxed a little bit, but the outside of your body, the skin, interestingly, has to be acidic. So while 4.5-ish is where you want your skin pH to be, if that was the pH of your inside fluids, you'd be in big trouble. So inside the body, you want it to be slightly relaxed. When it runs acidic, you got a problem. So what do you do if you're running acidic? Well, you don't necessarily treat the symptom. You don't treat the measurement. That's the way medicine works. It treats the number. Right. You don't want to treat the number. You want to treat why the body is acidic, and that usually means it's not getting rid of toxins, or you're accumulating toxins. The fastest way to raise the blood pH has nothing to do with what you drink or eat. It has everything to do with what you breathe, and oxygen is how nature designed us to alkalinize. alkalinize. You don't need anything fancy to alkalinize. You don't need to spend money on a fancy alkaline water machine, or you don't have to buy alkaline water. Those are two fancy ways that marketers tell you to alkalinize your body. You don't need any nutrients necessarily, although minerals are important. Oxygen is the best way to alkalinize. So sitting on the couch and practicing your deep breathing techniques. This is why deep breathing is so important. It helps raise the blood pH. If you want to use minerals to do it, that can help, not tremendously, because if you're acidic because of toxicity, minerals aren't going to make that much of a difference. But from a nutritional standpoint, it's the minerals that raise the blood pH, and using mineral supplements, using the Cherry Mints or the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, that would be the best way to nutritionally raise your pH. But oxygen is the best way. Also, plain old water can help dilute acidity, so making sure you're drinking enough water, that can also have a positive effect on blood pH. Does that help?
Yeah, one more.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. One more thing. You know, that last caller about the GERD, I started listening to you. I'd been on Nexium for about a decade, and I always had the reflux. And then I started listening to you, and after about 2 months, boom, I was done. The Nexium got thrown away, and I
Nice.
haven't had any problems since.
Nice, RC. Good job. Congrats. And you look great, man. I saw you, when did I see you? A couple weeks ago or whenever I was out there in Santa Cruz. You look great. You look great. And you lost weight, it seems like, since you and I have been talking.
Right.
You're just doing a great job.
Healthy.
Good job, RC.
Right,
Thank you so much.
Thank
All right,
you
brother.
much.
Take care, man. Take care. All right, that's my buddy RC in Santa Cruz. All right, let's go to Jeff in Minnesota. What's up, Jeff? Welcome to the bright side.
Yes, I have a friend whose body's in distress. His tongue's broken out. They diagnosed him with pancreatic cancer last week.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Still in pretty good condition as far as that goes. He's working.
How old is your friend, Jeff?
He's about 50.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, pancreatic cancer it's the worst of all the cancers, and it's got the worst prognosis of all the cancers. The pancreas is a big bag of enzymes. That's its job, is to produce enzymes. It produces digestive enzymes and other enzymes. It's just once the pancreas goes down and it starts to release its enzymes, that's where it's just an awful situation. However, people do survive pancreatic cancer. It is the deadliest cancer, but people still survive it. You may want to have your friend research a guy named Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez, who has done a lot of work on pancreatic cancer and worked with pancreatic cancer patients, and he actually recommends using pancreatic enzymes to treat pancreatic cancer. And he recommends pancreatic enzymes for all cancers, but he gets a lot of good benefit from that, from using pancreatic enzymes. Also, digestive health strategies. The pancreas is largely a digestive organ. It also processes sugar. So using digestive strategies and using blood sugar stabilizing strategies. And of course, that means fasting, eliminating problem foods, and then using all his anti-sugar strategies, sweeties, magnesium, the amino acid taurine and arginine. Those can be helpful for processing sugar. Of course, keeping his sugar intake down to zero. We should all have
a healthy start pack would probably help him out.
And the blood and sugar pack. And the blood and sugar pack would help. Fasting, using pancreatic enzymes, making sure I would be researching Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez, and then making sure he's using all the relaxation techniques we talk about on this program. The body heals under conditions of relaxation, not under conditions of stress. So activating the relaxation or parasympathetic nervous system is important, using deep breathing techniques, massage, hot water, all the things we talk about for deactivating the stress response. Okay. God bless, Jeff. Good luck with everything. I hope that helps. Okay, let's see if we can get one more call in before we got to go. Eileen. Oh, we lost Eileen. I apologize. I think I may have hung up on Eileen. Eileen, if you're there, if you're listening, call back and we'll see if we can get you in, because now we got an empty board. I wanted to read this. I found this quote. It's called "The Man in the Arena Speech." It was from Teddy Roosevelt, and I think it's really cool. And it kind of talks about the notion of how stress and how discomfort can be a very important part of growth and a very important part of having a great life. And how when we're trying to accomplish something, there's going to always be a sort of hardness about it or discomfort about it, and other people are going to be critical. Other people are going to complain, but as this quote is from Teddy Roosevelt, a speech he gave in the 1920s, I believe, somewhere around there, as this speech talks about, it doesn't matter what other people say. Quote, the man in the arena, quote, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat, unquote. And that's from Teddy Roosevelt's Man in the Arena speech. You can Google it. It's all over the internet if you want to learn more. I love that idea. Who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails by daring greatly. I want to encourage you all out there, dare greatly. It doesn't matter what anybody says. If you have a goal, if you have something you want to achieve, if you want to have a great life, dare greatly, and don't worry about your critics. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena. All right, thank you for listening, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Tomorrow we'll continue talking skin health and talk about hyaluronic acid on the bright side. Please check out my website, brightsideben.com, if you want to purchase any of the longevity products, or pharmacistben.com if you want to purchase any of the longevity products, and truthtreatments.com if you want to purchase any of my Truth Skin Health products. Have yourselves an awesome, spectacular, wonderful day. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll talk to you all later, folks. Bye for now.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
More and more people are discovering the incredible benefits of alkalizing the body, and there's no better product for it than AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops. Packed with a powerful combination of the most alkaline minerals and compounds, just a few drops in water will rid your body of harmful waste and give you more vibrance and vigor than you've had in years. Now buy 2 bottles and get $10 off your order. Call 800-518-7615 or visit alkavision.com. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com.
Did you know every woman will layer on 14 pounds of toxins in use of cosmetics alone? Unfortunately, top brands women rely on to look their best may be hiding harsh chemicals that have been linked to cancer, organ failure, and birth defects. Longevity Minerals, an all-natural beauty line that heals your skin from the inside out. Try it today at www.morethanhighheels.com. That's www.morethanhighheels.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Many are in disbelief today after word of shocking allegations against a Minnesota-based talk syndication company known as GCN. It's claimed that they're the 4th largest talk syndication company in the U.S., making it even more scandalous that they've been accused of helping business owners expose themselves on a massive scale. Let's go live to Tom for more on this story.
It's being called the greatest exposure of our lifetime, while other business owners are beginning to step forward claiming they too exposed themselves criminals with the help of GCN.
It's true. They're all guilty. Every last one of them. GCN helped me get the exposure my company needed, and just think, that was years ago. Today, GCN has like 700 affiliate stations and over 6 million downloads from iTunes and their website every month.
Imagine the exposure your company can get. Expose your business to the masses. Email advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective. GCN.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. All over America, people are suffering from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, irregular heartbeat, clogged arteries, and high cholesterol. Can you live your life free from sickness, pain, and fear, and experience your body's healing itself? Look to Heart and Body Extract, an all-natural supplement that aids ailing bodies. It is an exclusive formula of wild-crafted and organic herbs. End the pain without all the side effects of prescription drugs. People 20 years younger will envy your vitality. Want a happier, healthier you? Then go to heartandbody.com or call toll-free 866-295-5305 for free information. Heart and Body Extract offers a lifetime guarantee with no price increase in over 14 years. What are you waiting for? Call Heart and Body now at 866-295-5305 for your free information or go to heartandbody.com. Distributor inquiries are welcome.
Have you ever felt like the United States government knows way too much about your financial affairs? I continue to hear stories about property seizures, frozen bank accounts, confiscation of stocks and bonds. It makes me wonder if the U.S. citizen will ever again have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, with the Drug and Money Laundering Act, the IRS Revenue Ruling 6045 of 1984, and the Trading with the Enemy Act and Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order of 1933, some precious metal holdings are subject to government intervention. For this reason, Midas Resources has prepared a report explaining the boundaries of trading precious metals privately. Whether if you have any intention of trading with Midas Resources or not, I have instructed my representatives to give this report out free. Call for your free copy at 1-800-686-2237. When investing, always proceed with caution. Again, call 1-800-686-2237. Exercise your legal right to trade metals privately. 1-800-686-2237.